Yo! Welcome to another episode of A Chapter a Day to Keep the Devil Away. I am Tanaya Shea, and this is the place where we read a chapter of the Bible a day until we finish the entire thing. Today's chapter will be Genesis chapter 18. But before we get to that, yesterday's takeaway. Yesterday's takeaway was more so a hope that we would feel the freedom to conversate with the Almighty whilst experiencing the full counsel of that. Our doubts, our emotions, our joys, our laughter. God can handle it. He sees us and He wants to commune with us. So I hope that we take advantage of the opportunity that we have to commune and communicate with the Almighty El Shaddai. A son is promised to Sarah. Genesis 18. The Lord appeared again to Abraham near the oak grove belonging to Mamre. One day Abraham was sitting at the entrance to his tent during the hottest part of the day. He looked up and noticed 3 men standing nearby. When he saw them, he ran to them and welcomed them, bowing low to the ground. "My Lord," he said, "if it pleases you, stop here for a while. Rest in the shade of this tree while water is brought to wash your feet. And since you have honored your servant with this visit, let me prepare some food to refresh you before you continue on your journey." "All right," they said, "do as you have said." So Abraham ran back to the tent and said to Sarah, "Hurry, get 3 large measures of your best flour, knead it into dough, and bake some bread." Then Abraham ran out to the herd and chose a tender calf and gave it to his servant, who quickly prepared it. When the food was ready, Abraham took some yogurt, milk, and the roasted meat, and he served it to the men. As they ate, Abraham waited on them in the shade of the trees. "Where is Sarah, your wife?" the visitors asked. "She's inside the tent," Abraham replied. Then one of them said, "I will return to you about this time next year, and your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening to this conversation from the tent. Abraham and Sarah were both very old by this time, and Sarah was long past the age of having children. So she laughed silently to herself and said, "How could a worn-out woman like me enjoy such a pleasure, especially when my master, my husband, is also so old?" Then the Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Why did she say, 'Can an old woman like me have a baby?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return about this time next year, and Sarah will have a son." Sarah was afraid, so she denied it, saying, I didn't laugh." But the Lord said, "No, you did laugh." Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Then the men got up from their meal and looked out toward Sodom. As they left, Abraham went with them to send them on their way. "Should I hide my plan from Abraham?" the Lord asked. "For Abraham will certainly become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth will be blessed through him. I have singled him out so that he will direct his sons and their families to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is right and just. Then I will do for Abraham all that I have promised." So the Lord told Abraham, "I have heard a great outcry from Sodom and Gomorrah, because their sin is so flagrant. I'm going down to see if their actions are as wicked as I have heard. If not, I want to know." The other men turned and headed toward Sodom, but the Lord remained with Abraham. Abraham approached him and said, "Will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? Surely you wouldn't do such a thing destroying the righteous along with the wicked? Why? You would be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same. Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right? And the Lord replied, if I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city for their sake. Then Abraham spoke again, since I have begun, let me speak further to my Lord, even though I am but dust and ashes. Suppose there are only 45 righteous people rather than 50. Will you destroy the whole city for lack of 5? And the Lord said, I will not destroy it if I find 45 righteous people there. Then Abraham pressed his request further. Suppose there are only 40. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it for the sake of the 40. Please don't be angry, my Lord, Abraham pleaded. Let me speak. Suppose only 30 righteous people are found. And the Lord replied, I will not destroy it if I find 30. Then Abraham said, since I dare to speak to the Lord, let me continue. Suppose there are only 20? And the Lord replied, then I will not destroy it for the sake of the 20. Finally, Abraham said, Lord, please don't be angry with me if I speak one more time. Suppose only 10 are found there? And the Lord replied, then I will not destroy it for the sake of the 10. When the Lord had finished his conversation with Abraham, he went on his way, and Abraham returned to his tent. The takeaway is the same. To be able to feel that freedom, Abraham knows of God's kindness. Abraham knows there's safety here. Even in tension with his justice and his compassion, he's seen a God who sends for Hagar on her way kind of to exile, right? She's running away from Sarah and Abraham, and she's made her mistakes, and Sarah has lashed out as well, and she doesn't know where to go. And God not only reaches out to her, but bestows covenants upon her and her seed as well. And so I'm sure upon Hagar's return, Abraham has seen the kindness of God. The Pharaoh of Egypt giving riches under deception, giving riches and allowing Abraham to take it with him even after being deceived. Abraham's favor in saving Lot from captivity. He has seen God come through time and time again. God has promised a legacy for somebody with no kids. Of course, probably thinking about his nephew, but also appealing to the mercy of El Shaddai, God Almighty. Surely, your mercy will pour out, even for just 5 people, even for just 10 people, even for 40, 20, 30. Can I get 10?
And can I get a hot tub?
Nice.
The reason he approaches the same way that I would if I was asking my parents for a video game or 10 extra minutes before I go to bed when I was a kid. There's a posture there that I think is beautiful and worth our attention. So that's all I'm gonna say. Reminds me of a song I love. Today, if you hear him, by Taylor Leonard. You should go listen to it. You should feel free to approach God with humility and a childlike spirit. Okay, have a wonderful rest of your night. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.